Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Going to do a deep dive on the Bitcoin market right now, let you know what's going on and what we should hopefully expect next. So I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, we're going to do a deep dive on Bitcoin today and see where we could be at in the cycle here and what to expect over the next, probably month or so, really the next 2 months over the markets here, because we got some things that are coming up here in the next few weeks that are going to be, potentially bullish for crypto, and how that could affect us in the short term and the long term, because it's going to probably have a short term and a long term effect. So let's jump into it here. So we're on the daily chart here. We're still in this channel as we've been for, I don't know, since February. So since February, we've entered this channel here and really haven't done a whole lot. We did make a new all-time high, but since then we've just been kind of going sideways in a big accumulation zone here, and just staying in this channel. And at some point we're going to break out of that. Now, all of the bullish news is out on crypto. We've had the ETF news. That's been out for a while. We've had some, Trump and RFK Jr. talking about how they want to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve, and, some positive, things coming out about crypto and our government, stuff like that. A lot of things have happened, and all that news is already out and priced in. So there's really nothing going on right now that's going to push the price of Bitcoin up as far as news-wise. There are some bearish things out there with the government potentially selling Bitcoin. They moved their Bitcoin to Coinbase, I believe. So that would likely mean that they're selling their Bitcoin. Who knows why? It's really tough to say, but really we're just still staying in this channel here. And until we get some bullish news or something that's going to bring momentum in the market, we're not going to push up higher than this. If we get a black swan type news, we could push down and turn bearish, but I'm still expecting us to stay in this channel here for at least the next month or so until we get these rate cuts. How are these rate cuts going to affect crypto? I'm assuming, and typically once the rate cut is announced, that's pretty much already priced in that the rate cuts are coming. So usually there's a sell-off. It's usually kind of like a sell the news event, but then in the long term, after that sell-off, usually starts kicking in for Bitcoin and crypto as a positive momentum for the future of it, and potentially kicks us off into a bull run. So I'm expecting that to happen. Probably late September and into October is when we should start moving up. September, we'll look at the historical time frame for September here and show you what that looks like, but that could be a bearish month for us. This is the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. It is looking like a giant cup and handle pattern playing out potentially here. That's usually an extremely bullish move if that happens. No guarantee of that. So we'll have to see. And, this here could also turn into a bull flag at some point where we narrow in this channel and then break out of it and break up into a bull flag. That could potentially happen as well. The fear and greed index, we've been in extreme fear over the recent week or so here. We're still in the fear zone. I think this is good. I think we'll be in here for the next month or so. And I think that's good for Bitcoin and good for the market to have a fear in the market where there's accumulation and not a lot going on, because it gives time for the momentum of the bull run to build up. You can see all the greed we've had over the last several months, and this is not good for a bull run to have it this early. It's not healthy. So, hopefully we're going to build up some momentum here to take off the next leg up. If we go to the Bitcoin monthly historical chart here, you can see September and August are typically red months. I'm expecting September to potentially be another red month here, but we'll see what happens. We have had a minus 8% so far in August, so it's kind of up in the air. But we, like I was saying earlier this year, we had 7 green months in a row with Bitcoin, which has never happened before. We were due for a correction, and now we've had it. We got a 14% correction here, 11% move to the upside, then a 7% correction, and only a 3% move to the upside. Now we're right now an 8% correction. That could be a deeper correction by the time the month is over, or it could, turn, the other way. We don't really know for sure, but I'm expecting us to stay red through, August and September here. Maybe by the end of September we turn in the positive, but we'll see. But I'm expecting a big move up in October here. We had a 30% move on Bitcoin here in October. We had a 40% back in 2021, which was, 3 years ago. And then in 2020, we had almost a 30% move, which is 4 years ago. So are we going to get it these 2 years in a row and not so much? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But, October has almost always been a green month. So I'm expecting a green October out of this. I showed you on one of my videos the other day here, the Pi cycle top indicator. This was in another gentleman's video here. You can see where the green and orange lines cross here is typically the, right around the peak of the bull market. Right now, those two lines, they did get sort of close to each other when we made a new all-time high, but they never even came close to touching here. And I don't know if I can really zoom in on this. I guess I can zoom in a little bit on it. But if you guys can see here, we're now diverging. They're now moving away from each other. So this is a good sign that we have more momentum left in this cycle before we hit the top. So hopefully that is the case, and that we've got a ways to go in this bull run yet. These are good indicators of it. If we look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart here, we came all the way up in the yellow that last bear market and came all the way down into the bottom of the green zone before we were going to start taking off again. Then we had the COVID correction, so we have to kind of ignore that. But, it's very likely that we could continue to come down in August and the end of August and September here, make a little bit more blood in the market here and get down in the potential mid 40s to low 50s again before we take off into this bull run, hopefully in October or so. But no guarantee of that. I'm just I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just kind of going off what's happened in the past. We did get a deep correction in the past here before we were going to take off into a bull run, and that could definitely happen here. So that's something that we need to look out for and kind of expect to happen potentially as it's happened in the past. Obviously, nothing actually is the same as exactly as it was in the past. It's going to be maybe similar, but not exactly the same. Every cycle is a little bit different, of course. This one for sure, we've never hit an all-time high before the halving, before in the past like we did this time, but that's because of the Bitcoin ETFs. I think are the only reason for that to happen. So what's going to be our momentum here? This is going to be our momentum for the next few months here. The Fed interest rates here. They talk about in this article here on Cointelegraph.com that when the Fed, under Chair Janet Yellen, the Fed, they did a bunch of interest rate hikes back in 2018. And, once they started doing that, Bitcoin started plummeting from 20,000 down to around 3,200. 80% correction when they started doing those Fed hikes. And then 2021 also, in November 2021, we hit a new all-time high with Bitcoin of 68,000. And then, we thought we were going to hit 100,000, but that didn't happen. The Fed actually started increasing interest rates, and, because they had inflation concerns. So once they started doing that, the Fed signaled that it was intending to raise interest rates and reduce the liquidity within the economy, and that made the market turn hawkish. And then we had a big correction, a 70% correction on Bitcoin, from 68,000 all the way down to 20,000. So and you can see it in the charts here. This was the peak of the 2017-2018 bull run here, and as the Fed started increasing interest rates, they had the correction on Bitcoin here. By the time the interest rates were topped out, we hit the bottom of the bear market here. And then they started dropping interest rates. Once they started dropping the interest rates, we took off into a bull run. This drastic rate reduction here was because of COVID. So we had a crash because of COVID, but then we took off into a bull run. Even with everything going on with COVID, we had a bull run because they lowered the interest rates. Now, they're going to be lowering the interest rates more than likely next month, and that's going to potentially put us in the start of a bull run as those interest rates continue to be lowered, because they're talking about continually lowering them over the next few years. So that could potentially keep us in a bullish momentum over the next few years with crypto. that's what's happened in the past, but we'll have to see what happens here. It's what I'm expecting to happen, but obviously no guarantee of that. So you can see the correlation here. As the interest rates rose, the Bitcoin price came down, and then they started lowering the interest rates, and we took off into a bull run. As soon as they started raising interest rates here, we had a correction in the bull cycle. This is when they probably started talking about lowering the interest rates or increasing the interest rates here. Once they started talking about it, that's when we had a correction. And then we had a deep correction as soon as they started increasing those interest rates. At the end of 2021 and into 2022, it put us into a bear market. We also had the FTX scandal going on, so that also helped crash the market pretty deeply, deeper than it probably would have. So here's kind of a correlation chart here with the real interest rates. The black line is the real interest rates. As you can see, they were lowered. Bitcoin's price went up, and then as you can see, as they were increasing, the price of Bitcoin went down. Now they've been increasing. Now they're on their way down, and Bitcoin's price is starting to come back up. So this will hopefully put us into new all-time highs here in the coming months. So that's kind of the outlook of the markets right now. We're hoping these lower interest rates that are coming down the pike here over the next few years will push us into a bull cycle with crypto, and that's typically what's happened in the past. So hopefully that happens. We'll cross our fingers. I know everybody's getting bored and sick and tired of this bearish market right now, but we did pump really hard and really fast in the late last year and early this year, and I was expecting a pretty good correction after that, and it wouldn't surprise me if we have a bigger correction than what we've had right now over the next month or so here, but we'll have to see. Right now, we've been holding pretty steady, so unless we get some kind of real bearish news, I don't see that necessarily happening, but maybe we just slowly keep going down and staying in that trend that we've been seeing on the charts recently here. But that's pretty much what I got for this video, guys. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next video.